Hello and a very warm welcome to you. Today, we're diving into one of the most incredible stories from the Quran, from the chapter called Surah Al Kahf, which literally means the cave. It's this amazing, timeless story about what it really means to hold on to your beliefs, especially when you feel like you're the only one.
I mean, really think about that for a second. When the entire world around you is going in one direction, what does it take to stand up and say, actually, I believe in something else? It's a challenge we all face, right? Well, the story of these youths in the cave, it's like a powerful blueprint for how to navigate that very thing.
All right, so let's get into it. Our story, which you'll find in verses 13 to 17 of the chapter, kicks off with a small group of young people, and their faith, their deep conviction, was about to put them on a collision course with their entire society.
Right off the bat, the Quran tells us something important. This isn't a fairy tale. It says, we relate to you their story in truth. So this is presented as a real account about a group of fitya, a great Arabic word for youths, full of vigor and life, who had this pure, genuine belief in one God.
And then you get this absolutely crucial phrase, and we increase them in guidance. This is so powerful because it shows us their belief wasn't just them trying really hard on their own. No, their sincerity was so real that it was met with divine help, which actually took their faith and made it even deeper, even stronger.
So, as you can imagine, that conviction was about to be put to the ultimate test. When it was time for them to go public, they needed more than just an idea in their heads. They needed a whole lot of courage.
And the Quran uses this beautiful phrase, we made firm their hearts. The word used, rabatna, it's almost like their hearts were tied down or bound, giving them this unshakable internal stability. It's this divine reinforcement that gave them the strength to speak their truth in the face of some serious pressure.
And this is a really key distinction to make. What they did, it wasn't just some impulsive youthful rebellion, It wasn't about fleeting emotions or just personal bravado. Their stand was solid, rooted in a deep conviction that was literally stabilized from within, by God. It was a divine gift of steadfastness.
And this was their declaration. So clear, so powerful, they stood up and said, our Lord is the one and only Lord of everything. We will never, ever call on anyone else. They're not just disagreeing politely here. They're saying that to invent other gods would be a massive lie, an excessive transgression. Now, here's where it gets super interesting. Their faith wasn't just some blind leap in the dark. It was actually deeply, deeply connected with reason, with a demand for proof. So instead of just getting angry or emotional, the youths turn the tables with a brilliant question. They ask for Sultan Bayanyan, which means a clear authority, or some kind of evident proof for what their society believed. This is the question they put to everyone. Why don't you bring some clear proof for these gods you worship? And of course, it's a rhetorical question. It's designed to gently but powerfully expose the huge weakness in their society's beliefs. Where's the evidence? Where's the proof?
So right here, these youths are modeling a faith that's based on evidence. They're basically arguing that any claim you make about the divine needs to have a solid foundation. If you don't have proof, they're saying, then what you're following is just something someone made up. Okay, so they've made their stand. They realize their society isn't just going to accept their message, so their next move is this incredible mix of smart, practical thinking and just profound, absolute trust in God.
And you can see their strategy really clearly in three parts. First, they make a clean break. They withdraw themselves from the false worship all around them. Second, they take a practical step, find a cave to keep themselves safe. And third, and this is key, they do all this while fully expecting God's mercy and help to come through for them. This teaches such a powerful lesson about balance. You see, they didn't just sit back and wait for a miracle to happen, but they also didn't rely only on their own clever plans. They combined prudence, doing the smart thing to stay safe, with this complete trust that God had their backs and would take care of the rest. And sure enough, that trust they placed in God was about to be answered in the most amazing way, with a literal sign of his care and protection. The Quran paints this incredible, almost cinematic picture for us. Imagine this. As the youths are sleeping in the cave, the very path of the sun seems to shift to protect them. When it rises, it angles away from the cave's opening. When it sets, it passes by on the other side. This meant they were never hit by direct sunlight, which kept them safe and comfortable inside.
Now, this isn't just a random detail about the weather. The Quran explicitly calls it one of the signs of Allah. It's the ultimate confirmation that their faith, their trust, their action, it was all being answered. It was this tangible, visible demonstration of God's care. So, when you put it all together, what do you get? The story gives us this beautiful, holistic picture of what a believer looks like. It's a faith that's not just from you, but is strengthened by God. It's a belief that's backed up by reason. It's a conviction that balances your own actions with deep trust. And it's a sincerity that is always, always met with divine protection. And that leaves us with one final question to think about. The youths, they found a physical cave to protect their faith. For us, today, that cave, well, it might be something different. Maybe it's a moment of quiet reflection, a space for prayer, or just being with a community of friends that supports you. So where do we find our own cave to nurture our conviction and our trust? Thank you so much for joining me today.